Spiritual process doesn't mean a constipated look on your face. Recently I made a video on what you should not do when you are inside sadhana pada, or if you are on the process of spirituality, what you should avoid so that you do not become hindrance on your own spiritual journey. But just because people want to get it happen, people want to make it happen, they also make themselves very serious about it. I still remember one quote that Sadhguru always quote from Vivekananda was, Vivekananda said once that people who are kicking the ball or playing football are more close to spirituality than people who are doing sadhana. People who are playing football, they are constantly concentrated on that ball, and every single moment they are aware what they are doing, where should the ball go, where should exactly they kick, where should they pass, everything that they are doing, they are completely and 100% into the game. But when people are doing sadhana, spiritual processes, mostly they are thinking about this, that, and without smiling, becoming very serious. So if some process is not joyful for you, the process is not involving you 100% into it, then it is not a spiritual process. The things you might do, you might sit in 10 different postures, but it is not a spiritual process, it is not yoga. Despite of not practicing any sort of yoga, despite of not practicing any sort of sadhana that Indian culture or the yogic culture gives you, and if you are just doing something, normal business or normal job, and you are just typing something, you are completely 100% involved into that, and you are smiling, you are joyful, and you are blissful within yourself, then that is also yoga. So yoga basically means that you and everything else around you are just one. It is not about yoga, like the literal meaning of yoga is union, like inclusiveness. Yoga doesn't have any single process. Yoga is divided into 4 different categories: Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, Kriya Yoga. So whatever you are doing, you are essentially doing an yoga only, but it is something that you are doing unconsciously, unaware of it. But if you do consciously, if you pay 100% attention to it, if you are completely involved into it, and if you do not feel it hard, you do not struggle while doing it, you do not feel friction while doing it, then you are doing yoga, my friend. Irrespective of you are accepting yoga exists or not, but yoga is something that you are doing. So that is why Sadhguru always say that do not go and do yoga, do not go into the spiritual process. Whatever you are doing, take yoga with you. So yoga is not a journey, but whatever journey that you are going in, take yoga with you. So yoga is in becoming consciousness, becoming conscious about whatever you are doing, 100% involvement in it, and having this joyfulness, blissfulness while doing it. If there is friction, then that is not yoga. Even if you are practicing some sort of yogic practices or some sort of kriyas that you are doing, some sort of asanas that you are doing, if there is friction within you, then that is not a yogic practice. You are going in the opposite direction of building more and more karma, not destroying it. Now, when people like to go into spiritual process, they do want things to happen to them. Now just in the pursuit of that, they make themselves more serious. Please mind it, seriousness is not the way of approaching yoga. Sincerity could be one term that you can approach yoga towards, with which you can approach yoga, but seriousness is not the way. As Sadhguru himself mentions that in last 2 lifetimes he was so serious about yoga, and he was desperately trying to make it happen. So whenever you are becoming serious, all you would like to do is you are taking controls of everything and you want it to happen. So whatever out there, you want to make it happen. So you would like to do it, you would like to do it, you would like to do it. But it's not always you have to do something, you have to fall into it. Because if you remember the story of Buddha, when Buddha went to learn about the truth of the nature, so he kept on wandering for 8 years. He did this, that, everything he did, but he never found what it is. But then he realized it is not something that I can do, but it's something that I can let it happen to me. So that is when he sat under a tree, and that is when he said that either it will happen to me or I'll die or I'll leave my body. So it is not something that he tried to do, it is just that he sat there without doing anything, and then yoga happened to him. Everything that he had to know, he knew in that particular moment. So it is not something that you can do consciously, but it is something that you have to fall into it. As we mentioned that this moment is inevitable, so we think this is the world and this is the moment which is inevitable, but it is the other way around. Everything that you are seeing right now, in the entire cosmos, in the planet, galaxies, or whatever it is, all of those things are actually concentrated on this single moment. This is the moment on which everything is balanced. So moment is not in this cosmos, but the entire cosmos on this particular moment. So if you try to know this moment, it is not possible for you to know this moment. If you try to fall into it, fall into the lap of it, then you can very much fall into it. So if you are talking about spiritual process, instead of being more serious about it, try to become bubbly, try to become joyful, blissful. Do not let anything, have any frictions with you. The more you feel frictions, it means whatever you are doing, it is not the spiritual process. There is something wrong is going on. You have to rectify it, you have to correct it. And this is one way of understanding it, that you are doing something wrong. So if something is going frictionless, then irrespective of that comes under this yogic practices or not, it is yoga. And that is what the true yoga means. So if you can do whatever you are doing without having frictions, that is where the liberation lies. It is not that when you die you get liberated, but when you are alive and doing everything frictionless, that is the liberation. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.